See this juicy brisket? It is the most expensive brisket in the world. And even though it's humongous, you can take a look at my nephew right here. It's not about the size, but it is about the quality. This is a Japanese Wagyu A5 brisket. Basically the best of the best. To cook it, I kept it exactly the same way as you do a regular brisket. I first removed a lot of external fat. And trust me, this is not gonna go to waste. Once the trimming was done, it was time to get it seasoned. For that, I kept it really simple. Salt and pepper, that's it, nothing else. Threw it in my smoker and let it cook. Once I was done with the cooking, take a look at this. Now that is the most delicious brisket I've ever had in my life. Yes, it is expensive, but it's one of those things that you have to try in order to understand what it tastes like. Have you ever heard of this iconic 1940s sandwich? It's called the Petit Melt, and as you can see, this will put a smile in anyone's faces. To make it, it's super simple. Of course, you're gonna need some bread. Lightly toast the bread with some butter. Now for the sauce, it's super simple to make. I just mix a little bit of ketchup with mayo and mustard. At the same time, you wanna caramelize some onions. Did you know that a lot of burger joints used to add onions just to fill up the burger? Especially during that time, beef was extremely expensive. Talking about meat, I like to use a percentage of 80% lean and 20% fat. That is the perfect ratio to make smash burgers. The key of a good smash burger is to have caramelization. Then of course you gotta go in with American cheese. As the only thing left to do now is to assemble it. We got the bread with the sauce, the fully cooked patties, and finish it off with the bun. And do I really have to tell you how good this is? I don't think so. Have you ever had steak fries? If you haven't, let me show you how easy it is to make it. First, cut the potato in half, then in half once again, and lastly one more time. Because in the end, you should have some edges like this. We want them nice and thick. Let them chill in water so that they do not oxidize. Now to truly make them steak fries, you gotta use some beef tallow. But hey, we can't use it like this. We gotta melt it down in the microwave. Now you want to remove the potatoes from the water and pat them dry. Once that's done, throw them in a bowl and coat them with the beef fat. Notice that when you do that, everything will completely solidify. And that's totally okay as long as you rub it. For the seasoning, I'm using my favorite barbecue rub, also known as Guga's rub. Make sure every single fries is perfectly seasoned. If not, by the end, they're not gonna have a lot of flavor. Cook them on your grill at 400 degrees Fahrenheit, and occasionally baste them with some garlic butter. The more basting, the better, because once you are done, you should be left with this. They are truly delicious. This is called egg on a nest, and it is one of the most delicious ways to have some eggs. And to make it, it's super easy. Let me show you how. Any kind of bread will work. The first thing to do is to carve the nest. Then spread some butter and throw it into the skillet. As one side is toasting, go ahead and butter up the other side. Because once you have a golden brown color, you want to flip. Then break the egg right in the middle. As once you are done, you should be left with something like this. Because then you want to add some flaky salt, a little bit of Parmesan cheese, followed by smoked paprika, and a pinch of parsley. Now that is perfect for breakfast. And if you want to make it to a dinner, just add in some steaks. Now here we have a full meal. And it's absolutely delicious. Have you ever tried garlic steak bites? I mean, each bite is extremely flavorful, and to make it, it takes no time at all. For today, I'm using beef tenderloin. One of the most important things is to cut them all at the same size, that way they'll cook evenly. In order to introduce a good amount of flavor, you gotta season it properly. For that, I use salt followed by freshly ground black pepper, garlic powder, and onion powder. Now, they're not gonna be steak bites without garlic, so make sure you chop it up as fine as possible. However, don't turn them into a paste, and we're gonna be combining it with some butter. After throwing in a little bit of oil, I threw in the steaks. You want to cook this under really high heat. If not, you're going to be steaming it and it's going to overcook the steaks. Keep moving them around until every single edge is nicely crusted. Once they're fully cooked, remove them from the wok. Then turn your heat really low and throw in a whole stick of butter followed by the garlic. As it's turning golden brown, throw the steak back into it. Mix it around until every single one of them is perfectly coated. To finish it off, just add a little bit of green chives if you like. Go ahead and give this one a try. It's definitely a winner. Is there anybody in the world that does not like this? If there is, I haven't met one yet, because it's easy to make and it's also delicious. I like to start with the steak semi-frozen. That's because it allows me to cut nice little strips like this. My goal is to have nice little cubes of steaks. Little squares like this is the way to go. Another thing I like to prepare is some caramelized onions. So dice them up, but don't make them too small. You definitely want a little bit of crunch on that Philly cheesesteak. Now for the bread, I highly recommend an Italian sub. Instead of using olive oil to cook, I'm actually using Wagyu beef fat. hot. So after heating it up, I threw in the onions. Cooked them until they were fully caramelized. Now for the cheese sauce is no big deal at all. I'm going with the traditional cheese whiz. You just gotta heat it up. Unlike a regular steak, you want to cook the beef all the way through. And don't forget to season it. A little bit of salt followed by freshly ground black pepper and garlic powder is good enough. Once the meat is fully cooked, combine it with the onions. Center all the meat in the middle and put the bread right on top. Because once you have done so, the only thing left to do is to spread the cheese. This is a $200 egg on toast. Not only is it extremely expensive, but it's also very difficult to make. And here's how to do it. The first thing you gotta do is sous vide your eggs at 145 degrees Fahrenheit for 1 hour. Once that's done, you should be able to remove the egg whites and you're gonna have the yolk like this. Now the next thing is the toast. And notice that I'm using one of those thin breads. As you can see, once I was done, this is what it looks like. However, these breads still need to be toasted. And of course, we gotta spread a little bit of butter right on top. Then it's time to take to a non-stick skillet. Fry it into its golden brown. Because the next thing we gotta do is to cook some steaks. And this is not any regular steak. It is a Japanese Wagyu A5. For that, I kept it really simple with a little bit of salt, freshly ground black pepper, and garlic powder. Cooked at sous vide and put a nice crust on it right after. As you can see, I was left with some beautiful steaks. Now there's left to do is to cut it in small cubes. To finish it off, I threw in a little bit of chives and of course the Japanese Wagyu A5 beef. Now here we have a true experience that it's one of a kind, because this is the most expensive egg on toast you've ever seen.
This will be the best burger you guys will ever make. 4 ounce ground beef. Smash it down for 1 minute. One more 4 ounce. Push. Hold it down for 1 minute. Salt and pepper on these bad boys. Here we go. Flip. Woo. Flip. Woo. Cheese on top. Woo. Patty on top. Cheese on top. Got your brioche bun. Let that grill. Bottom bun gets mayonnaise, ketchup, lettuce, onions, tomatoes, sliced pickles, burger, top, wrap it in Reynolds to make it even more authentic. Order 69, smash burgers up, my guy. The Unravel, beautiful smash burger at your door. When you bite into my burgers, I mean it, super first. Nothing beats a homemade burger.
Let's do some cooking.